an experiment in how to express ethical criticism through costume design. The costume designer plays a major role in creating the unique vocabulary of a production. Even though we all agree with this statement, we, the designers, are often expected to subordinate our creativity to the ideas and morals of the director. We believe the designer's work should derive from the ethical understanding of the world and must insist out of moral responsibility on bringing these morals to the stage. In order to enhance this idea, we decided to experiment with the second-year students in the course of costume design studies at the Tel Aviv University. The medieval play Everyman, or the summoning of Everyman, seemed ideal for the project. We asked the students to take this play and be the main and sole authors of the narrative and the design of the entire theatrical work. In our era of diverse approaches to morality, when artists are expected to express critical thinking and personal ethics, we asked ourselves, how do we express ethical criticism through costume design? In this project, we put less weight on creating elaborate designs or refined sketches. We emphasize the ability to create a clear narrative based on the students' personal and original thinking. We push them to express their ideas and morals through costume design. Each student adapted and rearranged the play to create a unique story, location, and characters, and design the costumes accordingly. Here are some of the results.
The play is set at the streets of a metropolitan city. Everyman is a young brat, full of mischiefs. He's misbehaving and mistreating anyone who comes across him. He walks into a bar. It's dark and gloomy with a few shady costumers hanging about. A cop is sitting at the bar counter. The bartender gives Everyman a drink. "You owe me some money from last time," he says. Everyman is acting innocent. "I don't know what you're talking about." Everyman laughs. The cop hits him down with a bat, knocking Everyman down on the ground. He's unconscious. "You have lied, stolen, and misbehaved," says the bartender. "Now you must find redemption by trying to help one single soul. Go outside and find that person. Your time on earth is limited." Everyman wakes up panicking, going outside to the streets. If you could find one soul to help, he may escape death. He finds fellowship, but he will not help him. He doesn't need any help. He meets the Simons twins, cousin and kindred, but they're playing the violin, and they cannot hear Everyman. "Good is busy. Go away, young brat," he yells. Good Deeds emerge from the dark. She's looking weak, thin, and pale. Everyman is horrified. "What happened to you?" he cries. She smiles weakly. "It is because of you, Everyman. Since you haven't done any good deeds lately, I have lost all my strength." "I'll help you," cries Everyman. He carries Good Deeds into the bar, but it's too late. As he enters, he sees his body laying on the ground, bleeding from his head. "It's too late, my friend," says Good Deeds. "You're already dead."
My version of Everyman is in the form of a modern dance show. For me, the play deals with level of spiritual experience. I turned to the theory of Kabbalah and found the Tree of Life symbol, in which I discovered that the 10 spheres in it match some of the characters in the play, as beauty and knowledge, for example. Since this is a modern dance show, it was important to give each of the characters its own unique movement and pose. Apart from Everyman himself and the Angel of Death, I have chosen to represent each character with several dancers. Everyman is the only original character I have kept. He is homeless. The other characters surrounding him lives in his environment. Kindred and cousin are defined by drugs, 10 female dancers, and alcohol, 10 male dancers. They are his closest friends, and he finds comfort in them, but they are clearly not loyal to him. Goods is represented as conch of charity, 7 female dancers. Their outfit has long chains to suggest glamour, while still being dirty and unpleasant. Beauty is represented as sunrise. 2 male and 2 female dancers, as a symbol of warmth of a homeless man after the dark night. However, the colors do not suggest this, but rather the cold breeze of the morning. The Angel of Death, one male dancer, is shown in an optimistic light in spite of his task being bring the poor souls to their last journey. He gives them peace at the end of their lives. I want to show a link in the use of color between Everyman and the Angel of Death to illustrate that in death he has completed the circle of life.
My version is a play for children, tailored for European audience and designed to lessen children's fear of death and presented as part of life. I have based my version on the concept of Memento Mori, the art of the dead, and set it on the Mexican Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, where skulls are also prevalent. For each of the play characters, with the exception of Everyman, I gave a symbol which indicates that they are already dead, and everyone is a skeleton. This way, every character carries a reminder on different part of their bodies, indicating that they are no longer among the living. It takes place on a small Mexican village. All the village families arrive to the local cemetery in order to meet their loved ones who have already passed. The dead mingle with the living in a natural way. It is they who enact the play. Everyman is the only living being among them. The character of Everyman. He's an ordinary worker from the village. The heart in the middle of his chest is a familiar Mexican symbol on this day. Here it indicates that he belongs to the world of the living, but soon to be joining the world of the dead. God is a woman, weathered in flowers and warm and pleasant as the sun. Death, a strong and intimidating woman. Her feather blouse represents Satan's giant wings. The red and black colors indicate death and its power. Goods. The color is green as the American dollar and golden for wealth and property. Beauty is inspired by both grace and beauty of ballet and the Mexican icon Frida Kahlo. And knowledge, an old and wise Mexican woman.
Everyman, the frustrated musician. Everyman is about to finish a lesson with his teacher, when his manager bursts in and screams that he will never achieve his goals, and he is a complete failure. Disappointed, he goes home to his girlfriend, falls asleep on the couch, and begins to dream. Each character in his dream is a musical instrument come to life. Death, his manager, is a violin. God is his music idol and is represented by organ and wind chains. Good Deeds, his girlfriend, is a beloved old guitar. Knowledge, his teacher, is a metronome. Goods, his best friend, here he is a tambourine. Every man in the dream becomes a living rock star legend. The moral of my story is that success will not come from outer influence, such as money, friendship, or beauty, but from good deeds and optimism from the depth of your soul.
My project is called No Man's Nowhere. No Man is the owner and sole worker of a diner called Nowhere, which is located in the end of a long deserted road. The diner is half full with different characters, and No Man moves among the tables to serve them and to converse with them. They are, in turn, the professor, who emphasizes the importance of knowledge. His outfit is a shrine for the human brain. He wears a brain-showing helmet and a sweater with words on it. The young woman, so beautiful that she feels she doesn't need to say a word, wears an outfit meant only for looking, disregarding human movement and physical comfort. Its cut derives from the perfect natural form of beauty, the golden ratio. The young businessman, obsessed with money and possessions, wears a flashy gadget suit with lead fabric with a moving screening and elective prosthetic legs. The old lady, who grieves over her long-gone memories, focuses on grief, a prominent emotion in the Victorian era. She is kept alive by a machine in her chest so that she may grieve forever, and wears a memories-filled coat. After each interaction, the customer leaves, and No Man, wearing a white 1950s war clothes-inspired outfit made of optic fiber, gradually turns apathic and less late, and the light of the outfit fades. There is still one more customer, sitting with his back to the audience in the back stool. It is Death, who represents the disintegration and the end of all, timeless. He has an unraveled, crumbling outfit and a fog hat. Death approaches the counter. No Man turns to him, and Death tells him the time has come for the final check, and the lights go out. The guidelines for my design are eclectic time and space. The characters are symbolic and should reflect no time and all time at once, so each character embodies past, present, and futuristic elements.
My interpretation of the play Everyman, which I have renamed Every Person, is set on board a steam train. Firstly, every person is informed by the train stewards that he is about to depart from this world. But first, he'll be having an appointment with Death, the train's conductor. Throughout the play, every person encounters various characters who advise him on how to deal with the inevitable, prior to his meeting with death. Stiffness, who babbles from his tight compartment at the tail end of the train. Materialism and kindness, among others. That ensemble may be Death's followers in disguise. There is no physical journey, because the train is effectively at a standstill. Near the end of the play, the stewards begin to drag every person to the train's engine for his climactic encounter with death. Will he accept the inevitability of his fate? The characters are every person, who is a representation of everyone. His color palette is made up of various grays. Death is haggard, grimy and gaunt, but he is still imposing and menacing. The stewards are Death's followers. They operate the train, they are disproportionately tall, and their color is based on shimmering oil. Kindness is slender, graceful and delicate. She is every person's guardian. Materialism is elegant, portly and squat, extravagant in color, and he carries a huge suitcase. Stiffness is a stout bulk of stone. His color resembles black tar. The play concludes as every person dies and moves on, regardless of his outlook.
My Everyman is set in a small town in the Israeli desert, established to observe new immigrants around 1950. The set is an empty shopping center. Each character wears a costume combined of elements from his original culture, North Africa or India, and those of the local and actual time of the play. My main theme is the importance of respecting one's ethnic and cultural roots, from mating one's morals and spiritual values. God is the bank manager and Death is the banker. God sends Death to every man to demand that he pay his debt. Every man pleads with Death to allow him more time and to raise the funds. Every man is a humble foreman in the local factory. He is part of small community, but angry at everybody else. He feels miserable and unhappy with his present life. Every man must now try to loan money from his friends. The first character is Fellowship, the cooking mama. Although she kind and friendly, she denies his request. Goods is the old man in the lotto stand. He tells him he will not lend him money either. Good Deeds is the street cleaner. He is very frail and speaks in a whisper and has no money to lend. Knowledge is the town matchmaker. She convinced every man to go to confession in the synagogue and remember good things in life. During confession, every man realizes that he loves his community after all, won't ask each one for forgiveness and find peace with himself. Knowledge gives every man the griffin gown, a traditional Jewish costume for wearing in a synagogue. He has rediscovered his roots.